guys, welcome to the first Pinnacle Talk. I'm here with Gabe Carroll, one of the coaches out of Pinnacle Performance. Blend and Grind kindly hosting us for the first topic, which is the prescription of weight belts. When would you use them? When wouldn't you use them? What's the purpose? And what our philosophies at Pinnacle are. Okay, I'm going to start us all off with why I wouldn't prescribe weight belts for the amateur or the novice lifter. One is people don't use them for the right reasons and they don't use them correctly. So a lot of the time people are using weight belts to cover up from an injury or to prevent an injury. Weight belts are there to enhance performance. They're there to increase that trunk pressure around your spine so that you can lift more weights in a compound lift, squats or deadlifts. Too often we see people using them to prevent an injury or because they've had a bad back that they're wearing a weight belt to increase rehabilitation. That's not the right way to use a weight belt. They're using it to plaster over a crack. Secondly, when people do use weight belt, they don't use it correctly. They don't understand how to actually create abdominal pressure without the belt. Therefore, again, they're just jumping it in for the quick answer. They're not actually learning about the purpose of the belt. And the carryover to what they're doing in everyday life doesn't exist. They sit at a desk or they're out playing football, playing rugby, getting a bad back when they don't have a belt on. So for me, we should correct using without a belt long before we introduce the plaster.
So exactly what Tom touched on there, the idea of intra-abdominal pressure. So personally for me, I find a weightlifting belt much like how I'd use a scrum cap in rugby as an aid to my training. So often you find a lot of athletes when they come in the gym can find themselves lifting 10-15% more than what they're normally used to. What the weight belt does, it reduces the spinal tension, reduces the amount of load coming through our vertebral column. So often you find people come in the gym not necessarily lifting correctly. If they can find ways to try and improve their safety and increase the amount they can lift in the gym in a safe manner. Of course, it comes down to correct coaching, but I think if used appropriately, then the weightlifting belt can be a very good tool, much like weightlifting shoes, much like weightlifting suits in bench press competitions. It's a very good tool to use that, but of course, people do use it to cover up cracks. So when it comes to coming back from an injury, people can overcompensate, use a belt, thinking that's what they're supposed to do. Okay, so Tom, just one quick question. So if and when you were to prescribe a weightlifting belt, circumstances where you would say to an athlete, look, perhaps now's the right time to wear a weightlifting belt, when would you use that?
If the athlete is solely looking at strength gains and force output in two of the big lifts, so the deadlift and the back squat, and their sole purpose is that lift, they're going bilateral and they are driving force through the floor when their technique is absolutely sound. So I love what you say about the weight shoes. Absolutely, don't use those to plaster over an immobility crack. Use them to benefit by having a more stable base.
Of course, yeah.
Felt the same. If the athlete is purely looking at those two performance outputs and they're doing everything else well, fantastic. Yeah. I just don't see that enough in everyday life.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so good arguments to when you would prescribe it and why you'd prescribe it. But what are the risks of giving a weight belt or prescribing a weight belt to the wrong person who's not ready?
Well, a bit like I said earlier, it's all about the idea of intra-abdominal pressure. So we can significantly reduce the amount of spinal loading we're putting ourselves through, especially with those bilateral movements, the deadlifts, the back squat. But this is generated by a moment through caused by the belt, rather than our rectus spinae muscles, rather than stabilizing muscles in and around our trunk. So we speak about, as coaches, trunk stability is one of the most crucial things. Whatever we do, whether we're walking, picking a bag up, going to the shops, whether it's being in the gym, doing any sort of exercise. So that trunk stability for me is so crucial with whatever sort of lift you are doing. So using a belt to compensate for that rather than focus on some of the finer things we could do within our training, I think could become a bit of an issue further down the line. In summary, why we wouldn't prescribe it, so novice athletes initially coming to the gym, unless you're lifting 2 to 3 times body weight, you don't need the weight belt. So learn to walk before you can run.
Okay, so in summary, we would prescribe the belt, or it can be used if your technique is spot on, if you're not suffering from any lower back pain or any sciatica or anything which is dysfunctional, and if you're looking to maximize the force production in your two big lifts, your deadlift and your back squat, and that's your sole focus. That's when we at Pinnacle would look at using a weight belt.